Hello and welcome. This is Scorecard on Channel 1 TV. I am Bernard Abeko. Today, there's a lot to discuss in relation to what's been happening in and around our game. We'll talk about the Black Queens of Ghana. They are in the that's the Women's African Cup of Nations once again. As a team that have excelled, in women's football, one of the few African countries to have, the women's football set up somewhat around, early 90s and what have you. They are to produce magic in the WAFCON. We'll get to talk about them. The coach has spoken already. We'll get to hear from him as well. Then we'll look at the Club World Cup, clubs that are excelling. And, of course, the big man himself has been speaking about the importance or what he's heard from the players in relation to this all-important tournament, the Club World Cup. We're going to talk about it, but I'll go for this quick break. When I return in studios, I'll be introducing you to my guys. Then we set the ball rolling. This is Scorecard on Channel 1 TV. Welcome back. This is Channel 1 TV, and the show is Scorecard. And I am Bernard Abeko. In studios with me. Mr. Bafo, how are you?
Doing very well.
It's good to have you here again.
Yeah, it's always great to
Why are you in the phobia shirts today? You heard the news?
I've been in the shirt throughout the day, and I only heard the news.
Why did you choose the shirt today?
I have no idea. I just
or the
had to
spirits
pick.
were speaking to
I
you?
just had to reach out to my wardrobe and pick out the next available shirt, and it was the next available shirt.
Wow, that's interesting. We're going to talk about Accra.
Yes.
We're reading something from our brothers. So
yes.
We'll talk about it.
Yes.
And Manuel, Angelo, the Angelo, they kill me. The Angelo, they are the feud Angelo.
Sounds like more like a Mexican Spanish.
Spanish.
Maybe he has some roots he has from. Oh, why Korea?
No, Colombia.
I thought he said Korea. I was like, that would have been so off.
No way. Charlie, some roots there or something?
No, just Ghana boy. So.
Ghana boy.
Yeah.
It'll be so. But let's get talking.
Yeah.
I know on our list, per what our producer gave us, we did talk about the Black Queens as well, headlining our local content for discussion today.
Yeah.
They played in a friendly game, but we're reading something from our friends, in the media, putting some stuff out in relation to a ban imposed on Accra Hearts of Folk, in relation to a transfer that they did. I want to pick few samples of the write-up, then we'll get into it. For clarity's sake, for those who are watching. Accra Hearts of Folk, according to our friends in the media, has been banned under a transfer ban by the Ghana Football Association following the club's failure to comply with a directive to pay $70,000 to Nua Dubiasi. So the ban is in accordance with Article 15(1)(c) of the GFA's disciplinary code that came into effect after Accra House of Folk missed the final deadline of May 31, 2025 to settle an amount. The payment stems from a decision by the Ghana Football Association's Player Status Committee, which directed Accra Hearts of Folk to pay Nua Dubiasi $50,000 as an outstanding balance on the transfer of Salim Adams. You recall him? Plus an additional $20,000, representing 40% of the onward transfer fee. And he continues to say, despite earlier acknowledgement of the ruling and a meeting between the two clubs in March to amicably resolve the matter, Accra House of Folk failed to honor the agreed terms per Nua Dubiasi United. So sources say that Accra House of Folk had asked Nua Dubiasi to write off to the debt in March because the expected outcome of the transfer of Salim Adams had gone bad. And interestingly, if this goes according to what we are seeing, it will be a massive blow on a club like Accra House of Folk, isn't it?
A huge blow. I mean, you don't want to find yourself in such a situation. Given the kind of season Hearts of Folk had, it wasn't that bad. They were fourth on the league.
Yeah.
A lot of people expected the club to win, and unfortunately, it couldn't happen. But if you've been observing what's been happening in the media a lot more, you would notice that Hearts of Folk have been making a lot of moves. I mean, you look at the current reshuffle that's happened within the team, where in terms of the technical leadership of the club,
Didi.
yes, there is new coach Didi, there is talk of 2 new assistants joining. Talk of Gazzelli and the Golden Kicks
the Golden
coach,
Kicks, the coach
who has also spoken and said that if the offer is good and the environment is good, he doesn't mind coming. I've heard of Najao.
Is the environment good?
It's quite debatable. A lot of people come out to, say a lot about the environment. If you have an environment where people come and go a lot more times, where the turnover is very high, definitely there is some questions to be asked about the environment. So all of these issues are outstanding. So where there's a technical leadership, new technical leadership that has been instituted, with Didi taking over, and also Najah, who I hear, the former Kotoko goalkeepers trainer, and so it looks like there's a reshuffle in technical.
Hearts is now camping the Kotoko, the ex-Kotoko guys in their technical area.
It's quite interesting. It's quite, and that tells you the merry-go-round. And now Kotoko has former Hearts of Oak assistant coach Hamza Obeng Mohammed also in their fold. So it looks like there is this merry-go-round
of vision
as well, also going around and all of that. So with the new technical leadership instituted, what you would need is recruitment. And Hearts of Oak have been linked to, in fact, the last time I checked, about 10 players already.
Didn't they form a new recruitment committee?
Yes, there's a recruitment committee that they are making decisions
before the coach's announcement.
Yes,
exactly.
So now how do you set up a recruitment committee? And they said there was a meeting in March to discuss with the GFA. So it means they had an idea about it. It's not like they had no. Okay. So if all this is happening and then you form a recruitment committee and then you get hit with a ban, what happens to what happens to even the players? Now the players will feel like we're told that these players were about to be let go and you're about to bring in new and better players. Now that you're hit with a transfer ban, you keep the same old players because now they are demotivated. They probably want to also go and play for somewhere else where they actually have value. You're asking if the club, I don't think the club is stable. It doesn't sound like a club that has a lot of... Because they change coaches every year, almost every year. There's a lot of upheaval.
2 years ago was Ouattara.
Yes, Ouattara came in, mid last season, ended the season, did his own recruitment, started the season. Unfortunately, couldn't make the needed impact. There's been a reshuffle, a new manager has come in. So you'd expect that perhaps...
but even the new manager coming in, Ouattara was nominated for one of the best coaches in May, the last month.
Yeah, when I went for last year's award.
Yes, he had a very good end to the season. There was a point where there was a patch where the club was not able to, make the most out of it. Yeah. A lot of home draws. That's obviously, to win the Ghana Premier League, you need to
win your home games.
So this ban would be a huge blow. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the statutes, to be very honest. I don't know how Heart is going to navigate around this, but they should find a way around it. I'm sure definitely there should be a window out there that would allow them to be able to overturn this ban, maybe through,
and you follow Hearts more closely. Haven't they announced some signings already?
Not yet. No signings have been announced. It's been a lot more.
No, it's just
links, and they've completed medicals and all of that. But there's no signature.
Players have completed medicals. But
completing medical signing, but that's not the end of the transfer.
But I'm asking, so what happens now to the players who are in the recruitment process? Does everything just stop?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not too sure what the statutes really say.
That then will be before the ban.
Yes.
It
can't go through registration. Because the part of the work that you have to do.
Unless the ban is for the 2025-2026 season, as in getting players into that season.
Yes.
You get it. But if the ban, when does the ban take effect, for example? If it takes effect on Monday, players who are en route to being registered as club's players, it doesn't affect them because there's a set date that the ban should.
But I think we also need to find out why weren't they able to make the payment. Was there a financial issue?
So that's what is up to us all to interrogate.
In contract, sometimes it's broken down. So they tell you that when the player scores this amount of goal, for example, the amount gets to this figure, or we engage you, you pay this sum cash down first off, or by this date. So by March 31, you should pay, say, 50,000 euros.
Let's not sound so speculative. I think the best thing to do, let's reach out to Hearts of Oak. Let's get to
But I was just using my experience.
Your experience, I know. You are more into football administration, so it's more clear.
So I mean, you're right.
So perhaps we need to find out more from Hartlefolk, and I strongly believe there is a way out of this. To resolve this issue, to get the ban lifted so that they can. There will be definitely a way out for Hartlefolk.
There's probably a way out, but I still think this is it's mismanagement. From the Ouattara thing to the all of it just doesn't look like a club that's being run properly.
Because that's clearly a ruling out there stating exactly. So it means both teams have met the status committee and then presented their cases, and the ruling has gone against you. So definitely there's some obligation or a responsibility that hangs around your neck that you need to, comply with. Unfortunately, if you've not done that, then this issue comes up. So they should find a way around this particular situation. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a great start for Didi.
I promise you. Right. Registration of players into our local clubs, it's difficult because when you go into the TMS, for example, all these details, you put those details into the TMS. To the point that you input your bank details. It's like a sort of auto-generated. The moment you register, you get into the TMS as an official club in the world, stamped by your federation. Every detail is there. So you cannot run away to say that we didn't know that by, say, May 31, we should have done the final payment, or we should have paid in bulk the sum. You cannot run away from it. The details are there. You only have to pay through the bank's details, and it has to reflect.
Let's confirm the payment.
So, our crowds are fucking in a critical situation now, but we can wait and see because the news is just trickling in, and there should be a way out. This is one of our model clubs that we need time for it to evolve. It's
1911.
We are still talking about this. Well, let's just move on. It's sad, but we'll see in the coming days what event unfolds. As of all, we should be talking about them playing in the FIFA Club World Cup, not issues, $70,000, those kind of things. let's get into the Black Queens quickly. They played a friendly game. They beat Malawi by 3 goals, and it was Doris Bodua who got the 3 goals for the Queens. They are preparing, awesomely, and I indicated that they are one of the African countries, or we are one of the African countries, and establish a women's team and try to get into a competitive foot. And we've been a force to reckon with, because after formation we played against Nigeria, and the rivalry stems from there. We play Nigeria again, somewhere in our friendlies, the last game before we get into the tourney proper. But the coach is pleased with what he's seen so far. Kimlas Piagore. Let's pay attention and listen to what he has for us. We see something interesting, isn't it? You heard from the coach first off, Kimlas Piagore, talk to us about the girls, how he's seen them so far, and of course, looking at what lies ahead of us. Preparatory games are quite super important. But the way the girls played was fantastic. Let me start from you, Kwachi. I mean, you saw some beautiful passing in there. It looks really easy when they're tapping. When it gets to the finals, it looks easy. But I think that's excellent, isn't it?
No, but they are playing good football. It's a continuation of what they started. And going to the WAFCON, Ghana has never won the even though we have been dominant in the women's game, we haven't actually. We've been runners up 3 times. So I think if with the way they are playing, it's only his second win. Which is slightly surprising. But they have a game against Benin before they go to the AFCON, and I think they have
Benin and Nigeria.
I think they have a good chance if they go there, if they can continue playing as good as they are.
That's brilliant. Kwame, you look at them, you have concerns?
Well, the obvious concerns would be the switch of managers, because Nora Haptel came in, did some fantastic work with the team, helped them qualify for the Women AFCON. I mean, for the first time since 2018. That was huge. That's significant. She took the team a step forward. Now, this new coach comes in, just 1 win prior to this game. Clearly, when there is that switch, perhaps switch of ideas, switch of tactics, getting to know the players and all of that, and all of these things do really play a role in a coach settling. And to get this 3-1 win with Doris Brodua getting the hat-trick, I mean, it's good for them. It's good. I mean, that's what winning does.
I love her play when she's in form.
Yeah, she's a top,
like a typical striker.
Top quality player. Very quality. I mean,
the second finish was really good. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
Even the last one before the tap, and her movement before she got there.
Her movement.
She's
exactly. I mean, we've seen her exploits. No reason why, is clear reason why she is the reigning best player, women's best player in the country at the moment. So I wasn't too surprised. Very good preparatory game. We have another game against Benin and then Nigeria before our opening game against South Africa. So I want to see how, because the opponents get a lot more tougher as the friendlies progress. True. So from Benin and then you play against
Nigeria,
our nemesis, Nigeria, before we go in to play against South Africa, which is also another very strong team. So I'll be gauging the way the other two games go. I mean, that was very good, winning against Malawi and understanding or helping boost the team's morale and helping the team the coach to be able to work his tactics and his approach play to the team. So we'll see how things go in the next two games. Then we can have a proper assessment to see or to show our readiness going into the tournament.
That's great. I mean, it's good to have our queens, stay in that. Initially, it was about them getting lost in mind because Nora was leaving and they had formed a bond with Nora.
Yeah.
You feel that zeal to want to play for the country is finally back from what we watched?
Well, clearly, it's not always easy to, break off something that is so attached to you to get into something new. It's not always easy. So that Nora, the divorce between Ghana and Nora actually did not affect just the girls. It affected the whole of the country because we all saw the kind of work Nora had done with the team, how close they were with the team and everything. So it's always going to take time. I mean, it's like leaving your girlfriend or your boyfriend and then someone you have a very close bond with and settling with a new person. It's clearly going to take time. I mean, it takes time getting out of the groove with the other person to warm yourself up to the new person. So it's just human nature. It's just basic psychology. I mean, you'd have to get all of those things sorted in order to be able to build a bond.
I think that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Because Kim, he also has a lot to prove. Because when Kim, because when he came in, there was a lot of talk about how good Nara had been with the team. So for him to come in and to have this chance of a tournament, I think he should be able to go in there and prove that,
he's a lucky coach?
Oh, no, not lucky per se.
It's actually a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and that's my point. So I think that, but once you have the chance to prove that, because there's always going to be the thing where once he goes in and he's in the tournament, people will be like, oh, if Nara had come, if we go out in the group stage, people will be like, Nara would have gone to the quarter. People will always have things to say about his appointment, and I think that the AFCON is a good chance for him to prove everyone wrong.
Okay, that's great. Let me pick some few messages there. We go for a break and come back into the FIFA Club World Cup. Good evening, Bernard. You're doing a great job. Please, Enzo Maresca shouldn't play with our hearts this coming season since his honeymoon period is over. This Club World Cup tournament is equally important to us as Chelsea fans, and we want to go far in this tournament. So he should put the players in their proper positions in the next game. Rich James isn't a good midfielder as he normally plays him there. This is from Sir Piquet. Says he's watching live from Ahafo, Sankore. This also reads, good evening and wish you all the best. Well, thank you. Please, the issue on a transfer ban on Hearts of Folk is being resolved, and for that matter, Hearts of Folk can register new players for the next season. And I really like the phobia outfit on our man. This is from Uncle Ibu from Odoko, official town. Yeah. And he's giving it to the camera should capture that. That's fine. So let's go for a quick break here. When we return, we'll talk about the FIFA Club World Cup. Welcome back to Scorecard on Channel 1 TV. I am Bernard Abeko, Kwame here, and Kwache as well. Kiki, I love it. Already you are Kiki. So it's nice. Well, let's get into the FIFA Club World Cup quickly, and we'll do a back-to-back. So we'll pick the games for Inter Miami, I love what I saw from Lionel Messi. The guy is not, he's still in the game. Like if you think he's not in the game, bro, that's not the truth. Let's pick that feed. Inter Miami up against Porto. Miami winning by 2-1. Then we pick Paris Saint-Germain. You know, they were shocked by Botafogo. Let's watch this. Welcome back. You know, my highlight was that from Lionel Messi. That was just magic that happened. I mean, Kwame, it was beautiful to have Messi sum it up.
What's there to show? I mean, that's Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
I mean, the moment that zone, there's a certain zone that
around the D, that space.
Yeah, when such free kick comes up, you clearly know that when Messi stands behind the ball, it's the chances of it getting or hitting the back of the net is very, very high. So I wasn't so surprised. I mean, as that free kick came out, my head was on the phone typing something. You just knew something would happen. But I lifted my head, the ball was in the net. And that's so typical Messi. I mean, but that game was very good. I
feel that's where their tournament starts proper.
Well, the tournament has started for them. I mean, they got a draw in the first game, a game of two halves.
But there were a lot of chances.
A lot of chances, and that's what I was coming to. This tournament has seen teams, I mean, play quite openly. I mean, you're not getting teams.
What was there to lose?
Sitting,
you got 9.5 million. Before you came in, you win and get the draw.
Honestly, because some of the players are probably thinking, even if we lose, we get 10 million. We can go, we go and get the rest of our vacation. But other teams have
But the games have been good. I mean, it's been very open, end to end.
Working in the pharmacy.
Game has been open end to end, and that's what we want to see. We got tired of this so much tactical football where teams are sitting in low blocks, finding it very difficult. Although the Botafogo PSG game came across like that, where you had Enrique saying that he had not met a team that had defended. I mean, in the last couple of months, defended us. Botafogo had defended against them. So aside that game, I mean, most of the games have been quite open. You watch that Inter Miami versus Porto game, one chance here, another chance there. And the teams that are able to get at the end of the quality or show some quality at the end of these chances are the teams that are able to, I mean, come up tops at the end of the day. So that's what it all comes down to, the quality. What kind of quality do you have to be able to make a difference in games like that? So I wasn't too surprised that Lionel Messi was able to be the difference maker once again in such a competition. And that's why, some way, somehow, Infantino had to, get Inter Miami into the competition. Because there's Messi, there's a Messi factor. There's a Messi factor that you always need. Because everybody in there was quite... check on social media, Messi. I mean, you need such a factor in the competition, and these are players that can make a difference and can get people talking about the competition. And that was why they were also trying to scheme some way, somehow, to get Ronaldo also in there to just, the repackaged or rebranded competition needs to be out there. You need to be properly sold. So you need the big actors to be able to, come to the party and then make a difference. So everybody was quite happy, and I was very happy seeing Messi at the back. And he was one player that influenced the game so much. That's Messi, typical him. Whether he's aging, whether he's not in his prime. Or
classes.
I mean, because even the older you get, I think your technique won't leave you. The way he struck the ball was great. He can always hit that. Even when he's 70, he can still hit that.
True. Yeah. I agree.
But just
I watched the charity game, and I saw Rooney make some moves. And I'm like, class.
It's just you just have it. You just have it.
Yeah, but on the games itself, the quality, I think, this is the best of the best.
Yeah, I think you were talking about that.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But this is the best of the best. If the Champions League is the best teams in Europe, and this is the teams that have won the Champions League over the last 4 years, same for every confederation. I think this is the best of the best, and I think it's showing on it.
And the Brazilians had the parties.
They have. I mean, the South American teams have been incredible.
That's the Champions League winner.
But the thing is, as the competition progresses, the thing I love about sports is there's going to be jeopardy, and that's when the best players come out. So even in the PSG game, going into the last game, knowing that they need to win or they play differently, they're far more motivated. And I think as the competition goes on, once you enter the knockout rounds and all that, I think the quality is going to go up. But even with the quality as low as it is, with players being tired, I still think that if they're able to produce incredible things.
That's fantastic. Oh, I know this is what you'd want to watch, especially if you are not a Chelsea fan. Flamingo. Flamingo. You know what they did? They beat Chelsea by 3-1. I read an initial comment from a Chelsea fan. I want us to go into that clip. Then possibly take the Bayern Boca Juniors clip. So Bayern beating Boca Juniors. They're also having fun by 2-1. Let's pick it back to back. We'll come back in the studio to discuss Chelsea. We love to see good football teams score, or good clubs score. And we saw the good clubs scoring in this particular highlight. You can give an example of one of the good clubs.
Flamingo.
That's it.
Flamingo.
That's it.
Did you see what they were doing to the Chelsea fans
Yeah.
on social media?
So tell me about it.
It's one of the most interesting trolls I've ever seen a club met out to a group of fans. From the point where they scored 2-1 till the end of the game, till the following morning. They were just on their necks, pressing them. I mean, if you watch that game, which I watched 90 minutes, for obvious reasons, because I knew what Flamingo was up for.
Absolutely.
And clearly they meted out a good beating to Chelsea. I mean, you watch that game and first you look at the Chelsea setup and you look at Maresca. And he came under huge criticisms from the Chelsea fans because of the way he got the team to, or the way he set up the team, where he had to play Reece James in midfield.
Yeah.
And he was asked and he was saying that it's an opportunity to, experiment and try out new things. And the Chelsea fans were like, it's a competition. Why are you going out? It's not like a preseason something.
The Chelsea fans feel it's a competition.
It's a competition. I mean, it's a competition with a trophy on. You are there to compete to be able to win the trophy.
And make money for...
exactly. So
isn't that an argument that he has almost two squads? Like, obviously, the squad that competed in the Conference League and the squad that competed in the Premier League. And now that he's coming to face this competition, he probably needs to find out how to put both of those squads. Yeah, put both of those squads together. And also the tiredness thing, because a lot of teams are coming into this tournament tired, but Chelsea actually have the ability to get players up and still be able to win. So
but you see, the argument here has to do with the player profiling and putting certain players in certain positions. One being playing Reece James in midfield. When other people were suggesting that there was a Sugo, there is Lavia, there was Andre Santos. If you want to try something,
if you're always going to tell your fullback to convert into midfield, why not just
that is the problem. A lot of some of us very orthodox and very for me, I would say this. Football is very simple. These hipsters, that's how we call them, some of us call them, the coaches, all these coaches. I mean, the kind of the thinking they want to bring into the game. I'm not saying, I'm not saying it's something bad, but the game can be quite simple. And you watch the Flamingo team and how they set themselves up, the mentality and the way they approach the game. I mean, the work ethic they showed on it was supreme. They attack together, they come back together. And you always knew that it was going to take the mistake that happened. I mean, if you watch the first 15 minutes of the game or the first 10 minutes of the game, you knew that it was going to take that kind of a mistake for Chelsea to be able to get that goal that Pedro Neto had. And from that on, they shut them up.
Yeah.
It was Flamingo. And when the goal got in for the equalizer, the commentator even said, it was coming. Then the next goal happened. Then the Jackson incident happened. And then the third goal happened. Clearly, this was a team that had their heads screwed on, and they were very, very much into the game from the blast of the whistle till the end of the whistle. Chelsea were struggling to create, they were struggling to control, they were struggling to do a lot of things. If you look at the midfield that Flamingo came up with, they were very dominant against the over 200 million pound midfield that Chelsea had assembled in Caicedo and then Enzo Fernandez, with Reece James also coming in there. By the time the coach had come to the realization of what he was doing, he realized that, well, I had made mistakes. And by that time, the game had gone. By the time he brought in Lavia, the game had already gone. And it becomes very, very difficult for you to seize control of the game from that point. So I wasn't so surprised that Flamengo were able to go. Credit to Luis Felipe. He got his team playing very, very, very good football on the day. I was actually surprised because I had not watched his team play, for full 90 minutes before, and I was very much impressed with the way he set up his team, the quality that they showed on the day, the mentality that they showed on the day, and how hard the players worked on the day to ensure that they were able to beat Chelsea on the day. I was actually very happy to see Luis Felipe doing that.
I'll come back to you to tell me about the Chelsea now and the foreseeable Chelsea when the league starts, because this serves as a perfect grounds for a coach, to really experiment. So let's go for this quick break. When we return back in studio, Kwacho gets to talk to us about what Chelsea should fix, immediately. Welcome back. This is Scorecard on Channel 1 TV. I am Bernard Abeko-Ochri. The numbers will roll on your screens. If you're a Chelsea fan, this is the perfect time to tell me about your problems. We need to solve that in here now. We'll finish.
It's a safe space. They should tell us about
it.
It's a safe space. We'll help you heal. It's not a problem. We're here to help you.
I think it's interesting the teams that are laughing at United.
Is it?
I think it's interesting the teams that are laughing at Chelsea for losing to Flamengo. That's football, that's life.
There's no criteria on who laughs at Chelsea.
Not at Chelsea, yes. You had to win the Champions League to qualify, and some teams haven't won the Champions League.
They think their coach is not good.
I think it's interesting the reaction to Chelsea, because PSG also lost to Botafogo, but it feels like for Chelsea it's almost like confirmation of how people feel about Maresca, but for PSG, it's almost like they slipped up, which I think is slightly unfair. They'll be okay. They'll win the last game.
You feel they should stick with the coach, their keepers,
They already changed their coach last season. I don't think they can continue every season if it doesn't go as well as we thought. If he hadn't won the Conference League, I think they would have considered him more. Like with him winning a trophy, I think they'll try it and see how it goes. But I think this is a make or break season for him, because because he has to win. He has to win, not necessarily win a trophy, but I think he has to qualify for the Champions League again. I think he needs to compete for the league. Even if he can't win, I think there needs to be progress from last season to this season, because qualifying for the Champions League and winning a trophy, now that sets a standard. And I think for Maresca, especially with the way it feels like, as soon as he loses a game, and it's like, oh, Maresca is not good. His teams fade out early.
I think the fans are not being fair.
Not necessarily the fans. I think, no, because he doesn't have any record to speak of. We're speaking about it. He came in off the whole, he's a Pep guy. He's worked with Pep Guardiola before. But now he's at a place where he needs to prove it. And he's had the same thing twice in 2 seasons, where he starts really well and then his teams burn out. He had it at Leicester and he had it at Chelsea. So by the third season, even though he won a trophy, they were the most expensively assembled squad in that trophy. You spent more money just in terms of transfer fee than everyone else. They had to win that trophy. And that's, I don't think, for the English teams that keep ending up, I think this season, who's in the Conference League? It'll be...
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest. Okay, so that's slightly better. Forest win the Conference League. But for teams like Forest and West Ham, and even West Ham ended up winning it, even though I think they finished 16th, they finished low in the league that season, but even still, compared to every other team in the Conference League, for them, based on their financial advantage, it's much easier for them to win. So for Chelsea, while they do have credit, they do get credit for eventually winning it. I think that next season needs to prove what they're really about. And for Maresca, he also needs to show everyone that, maybe this is why I also have to show for myself as a manager.
Let's get to the Inter Milan and Aurora Red Diamonds game, where Milan won by 2-1 against Red Diamonds. Then we'll pick Mamelodi Sundowns playing Borussia Dortmund and beating Borussia Dortmund by 4-3. Let's watch this. You love the highlights, but let me pick these messages as well before they react quickly, and then we draw the curtains on the show. The European team says, good evening to you guys for a fantastic show. Thank you as well. The European teams are approaching the games as preseason friendlies, but the South American teams consider it as a World Cup, mainly because their support is huge in the stadium. Their players see this as justified games for big moves abroad, and they need the money. The African teams must watch and learn. Power from Awoshi. Big shout out to Kwame for the brilliant analysis. Watching the Club World Cup, it's clear South American teams like Botafogo and River Plate aren't just matching Europe's energy. They are dictating it. That's great. Flair and tactical flexibility, especially in transition, is why CONMEBOL sides are shocking giants. Eric from Takwa, I take the last one. He says, "You are doing a great job, and I wish Bayern and Accra had to folk all the best in the ongoing tournaments and in their new football season, and also wish them injury-free." This is Uncle Ebo from Odoko official. They're not playing the club workout. What did they do? Guys, I mean, quick reactions before we draw the curtains. I mean, we watched all those clips. Which federation for you feel has shown so far at this stage we've got to?
Clearly from South America. They've taken a World Cup, as a lot of people, as the name supposes. So I'm not so surprised. And the European teams, I'm sure, would warm up. When it gets to the business end, that's where things will actually shape up. I'm sure that's where the European teams
You love what Alonso is doing as well?
Well, yes. It's still a lot of work, but, well, let's see how it goes. It's just early days yet. He says they will suffer, but let's see how it goes.
Wow, Ruben Amorim words.
Yeah, same thing. Impressed with the South American teams, but I still expect the European teams and their quality to show through at the end.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Thank you to our home, for staying with us through up until this stage, and we thank all the guys behind us. So I'm Bernard Abekochu. Thank you, Kwame. Thank you, Kwacha. So same time next week, we'll come your way on Scorecard on Channel 1 TV.